Well, greetings to you. Here's hoping you've progressed easily up to this point of the project. So I finished designing the floors and then the joinery as well. So I've created this yard area here, and then I've made this street as well. And the height that we have for the street here is based on the AutoCAD file. Let me open up the plan. It's right here. So here we have 6 meters. And then 22 meters here, and then down here we also have another 13 meters, and then we have some buildings around the area here as well, and then a small garden up here, and then finally in the mass area I'll make a box so we can get a good look at all of these, and then after that we'll discuss the stairs. But a quick note before that. So I told you that I've created the false ceilings and finished them. But just a quick note about the whole modeling principles and rules that we have. So when you're doing a teamwork and you're modeling the course together, and you have a local project, meaning after you're done, a mechanic will work the project and then they'll get to the structure as well. So let me just make a quick cut here so I can explain this part. We zoom out of this. And then I go here, and I'll select this, and then pull it to this point. So the important point that we were going to discuss is about your modeling process. After you finished modeling, you'll save the structure and send it to your mechanic so they can work it. So after you've done the phase 1, you don't actually need to work the phase 2, because firstly you'll waste a lot of your own time, and also the mechanic will have a harder job working the project. Alright, so another point that we have is when you finish the phase 1 of the project and then the mechanic works on it, you'll notice the differences that have been made. For example, the dimension of the ducts or the space occupied by the false ceiling. So normally the false ceiling space that we have, let me pull up the CAD file and the plan. So here, as you can see, the height that we have listed here is not an exact figure. And so you can call it an exact figure only when the mechanic has worked it and came out with the final results that we have for the figures. So the electrical mechanic works based on the highest point of the suspended ceiling that we have here. And after they finish their work, the remaining space is what we call the suspended ceiling space. And so because of this fact, when you're working these ceilings and you're making them, after you finish the first phase, just finish up the ceiling by putting it around the figure that you're given, but don't work any of the connections or the electrical cables that we have, so you don't waste any of your own or the mechanic's time. So your process is knowing where these ceilings are supposed to be, and then at the height that you're given, you go here and select ceiling, and then you'll create the preferred design of your own or the AutoCAD files plan. After that, you'll send it to the mechanic so they can progress the project. Then after you have the exact figures for the suspended ceiling, then you'll work on the details that are required in the plan. Because the suspended ceiling can be moved for any reason. And this action does happen in most of the projects. So as a whole debrief, just try not to work the suspended ceiling with the exact details that you need. Just work out the height that is required and then give it to the mechanic so they'll figure out the exact figures, and then the details are done after that. But here in our process, we've gone in full detail about the ceiling, and then afterwards we'll see what the mechanic does and what changes happen. So now we want to do the stairs. So here from the underground to the ground floor, we have, let me just count it real quick. We have about 19 steps here. So I go here and select stairs, Then here I'll select the monolith stair, and then here in the type properties I'll make a duplicate and then name it the floor stairs. Okay, and then we go to the edit type. So here rename this, and then go here and make a duplicate of this and paste. So check the thread box and then put this one on 3 centimeters. After that, we'll go to this part, and then here I'll check the box for riser as well, and then put the thickness at 1 centimeter. Alright, and then for the nosing profile here, we'll select 40 millimeters, right here the radius. Then I'll uncheck landing, and then open this up, check the thread box. Then here for the thickness we have 3 centimeters again 3 centimeters for the nosing length as well. Then scroll down this menu and select the 3 millimeters for radius, and then up here we have 0.24 thickness as well. Then here for the maximum riser height we have 0.2, and then okay. Then here for the top level I'll put in the ground floor, and then in the dimension section for the desired number I'll put in 19, which is the number of steps that we need. And if we take a look at the AutoCAD file, here in the plan we have an exact number which is 0.1632. Alright, then we go back to the Revit file, and I'll start from this point and I'll start designing the steps. So from here we go to up here, and then the rest of it goes from here down to here. Alright, then I'll click on modify and grab this and pull it this way, and then this side goes here. Alright, then for the actual run width I'll put in 1.15. okay here, then I'll select align, zoom in on this part. Then here we'll align this line with the stairs, and then we go up here and then pull this to here. Alright, and then we go to the other side. So here grab this and pull it up to this point, and then finally this upper section that connects them, pull this here. Then I'll select the whole stairs and then hit section box. And then we'll go to the 3D view, and as you can see this is how it looks. Then finish it up, and this is what it looks like. So I'll grab this and pull it up to this point, and then rotate it and grab this part, and then I'll cut it. There we go, now you can see it better. And then let's go to the underground plan again, and then select the shaft tool. And then here I'll select the walls that we have, and then I'll select the pick line tool, and then I'll draw the lines that we have here. Later we'll have to adjust these, but they're fine for now. So then let's go here and put the base offset on 2.5, and it's up to the ground floor. Then I finish this, and then we go to the 3D view. So here I'll select the stairs, and then I'll click on edit. So here I'll select them again, and then I'll uncheck the end with riser box, and then I'll adjust the relative top height to 3.1, and then I'll finish it up. Alright, there it is. Now this part will be covered by the joinery that we're going to do, and only after that our work with this part will be done. So I go here, and from the modify tab select the join tool, and then I'll join the floor with this part up here. Alright, there it is, and I'll cover the next point in the next video. Thank you for now.